Our team at the EBRD was established in 2008 after the great financial crisis. And the idea behind the establishment of the team was that we need to support creation of local financial and capital markets and not to have our countries of operation depend exclusively on cross-border foreign currency inflows. And the team does a variety of things. So we work at the EBRD, first of all, on diagnostics to make sure we understand the state of market development. Second, we work on developing institutions, so legal reforms, creating sometimes institutions in terms of infrastructure, supporting modernization of infrastructure. We also work with our banking teams and sometimes authorities and clients on developing new products in our country's operations and launching them. It's a quite wide range of efforts. It is true that markets in our region of operation are at different stages of development. However, we see certain stages of development to be kind of common across countries. And so what we do in order to focus on relevant stage. So first of all, a few years ago, we launched an analytic approach to analyzing markets. We introduced something called Financial Markets Development Index. We update it annually to see how the markets develop and where support could be needed. Second, then we look at each country in its own right and its stage of development. And in some countries, we begin with legal and regulatory reforms, so helping the governments introduce those reforms. We focus together with our Treasury, who is in the lead on this. We work on the money markets development on a short, let's say, segment of the market, and they have also a kind of a unique approach doing money market diagnostics, and then we support them in that regard. Further, as I already mentioned, we work with the partners, sometimes with institutions that operate in the market, for example, with stock exchanges or with depositories. And finally, we work with clients and our bankers on seeing what products are feasible to launch in the current market environment. And we see if you look at about 5 years back versus today, in almost all of our countries, there is actually a positive trend towards development of the market. And some of it is done with the support of us and other international institutions. There are a couple of trends I would highlight at this point. One is the trend towards regional and cross-border consolidation of the financial capital markets. One of the key ingredients of the effective market is liquidity. And there's a growing understanding that you sometimes need to pool your liquidity across borders to create a more effective market. I think that in this area, probably, as in the past for a few years already, the Baltic countries are leading because they are each of them, the three countries, are smaller markets, but they have done quite a lot to consolidate their market. And they actually this effort was recently recognized with them obtaining a common index, sort of a common index for the Baltic markets from MSCI. And we think it's a kind of an interesting example, a very good example of this trend towards consolidation. There are also various conversations and sometimes of activities of cross-border consolidation of stock exchanges. For example, Warsaw Stock Exchange acquired Armenia Stock Exchange, and there are other kind of discussions of consolidating part of the infrastructure to make it more efficient. And the other topic, apart from market consolidation, is of course the impact of the global interest rate increases. So that of course had a big impact on our markets everywhere. And this of course has an impact on the stock exchanges, on the ability to attract new finance, which became more expensive. And in my view, that this higher interest rate, it actually is creating more opportunities in the equity market, because in the past, founders could obtain relatively cheap bank finance. Now they're more interested in bringing equity investors, and this is probably a somewhat helpful trend for equity markets development. So over the last couple of years, perhaps the most interesting program in the region that we're very proud of was the program with Georgia, where we focused on an orchestrated effort to help smaller and medium enterprises to access capital markets. It was done with support of donors like the European Union, and basically we helped a number of companies through a kind of competitive process that were self-selected. They had to volunteer to participate in this program, and they were able to receive support with preparation for the first issuances, primarily in the debt market, but they were issuing bonds for the first time. And if you look at the results in the last 2 years, there were about 390 million euros of issues in Georgia, which is around the same volume as in the previous whole 10 years. So, and this really had an impact on liquidity, on the stock of assets available in the Georgian market, and we hope other countries would consider replicating some of these efforts.
Thank you.